Ladies and Germans, how you all doing? This is Con Ulrich.
This is Rangru, hello, hello, hello.
And folks, today we are giving you just a little bit more coverage of the SD2 Season 7 League. On Ocean North today, Rank, who do we have? What are they bringing?
On left hand side in blue, we have Yepcock playing the 11th SS Nordland with a balanced income. Right hand side in the red, we have ourselves IL2 ready for booty busting, otherwise known as Flix, playing 2nd Infantry Division with a Maverick income.
So, second we know well. Nordland we know well. What's the whole idea between the balance versus the Maverick? Is this just another standard, okay, hold the line until C phase, or what's going on here?
Yeah, it's just another standard hold the line till C phase. IL2 has 20 minutes to win, or to make significant progress, and that's exactly what he's trying to do up north here. Rushing some flamethrowers and greyhounds into the northern town.
But I don't know if Greyhounds are really higher up on the food chain than a Puma.
Yeah.
We
Or
got a
two,
Puma just.
three, one, or really anything in general. They're pretty low.
Well, you see one from right now going down to that captured Russian 45 mil, which is not too surprising. I mean, the biggest thing to kind of watch out for there is just that initial kind of mobility and those radios.
Yep. But a good amount of fire support here just from all the 50 cals and snipers from Flix. And he is meant to get a foothold into that town, getting some engineers into there finally. But it's still going to be a bit of a uphill battle to fully secure it.
And what surprises me is the super early M10 tank destroyer. I don't know if I really would have gone and spent 80 points there. Maybe just gone with a Sherman, be a little more.
Oh, he needs a long-range anti-tank.
But immediately Nordland, yes, they do have the Stoke coming in
The
now.
claws are kind of scary.
Okay, fine. I feel like it's asking for trouble here, and we'll watch as the Stoke now starts to engage the M10 from range here. Neither side immediately getting a kill. Not to say it won't happen soon enough, but regardless.
We're seeing the Sherman being brought in. Oh yeah, they got the bloody jet bomber. And
Yes,
they're
they
going to use
do.
that to jet bomb the M10.
Yes, they are. And it's going to miss, but it's still going to be scary. Good thing he moved.
Oof. Yeah, good call.
Every time I see that come in, all I can start hearing in my mind this scream of Call of Duty, but like, tactical nuke incoming! And just, like, it's all I can
25
imagine.
kills already? Wow.
I actually, I think there has been 25 kills. 25 squads, no, but 25 kills, I think, absolutely. And the half-tracks are going down right, left, and center, which is unfortunate because that's what I feel like a lot of the early 2nd infantry benefit really is.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He's managed to use them effectively to get himself into the town, and he does have that Sherman now backing him up as well as the M10, which is nice. The problem is actually getting more infantry into the town, as he can't really push out Yepcock with his small meager infantry force currently.
No more Sherman.
Oh, Sherman goes bye-bye. And looking at
Indeed.
the rest of the map, it's pretty reserved, actually. No real crazy pushes on the far flanks. It's really all being focused into this northern town sector.
And it kind of makes sense when you think about it, just with the concentration of a lot of the material. I mean, Ocean North is an edgelord map. We still have those complexes to the north. We still have the complexes to the south. And indeed, looking to the south, we're seeing a very, very kind of timid recon, not really enforced, just a true recon by this 1-2-3-1. Lucky for him, there's nothing immediately in front of him that could kill him. But those Ranger Marauders can be redeployed awful quickly.
And this is going to be, of course, with 2nd Infantry. The classic downside is the lack of anti-tank on their infantry. So if he was to use those 2-3-1 and armored vehicles effectively, even up close, you can afford to make that risk assessment. Because it's less likely, well, a few bazookas, but less bazookas in on average.
True. And just like a Zuka trooper, those light vehicles are going to find him. And indeed, they are. And indeed, also we have those basics, which is kind of like the A6, but for the B team. And you'll discover pretty quickly why they are the basics. Just because that disheartened, those guys would rather be manning a desk.
Yeah, they're just here to be a beacon to say, hey, there's Germans here now. We're gonna run away because most of us got killed. Rinse and repeat.
The beacons are lit. The basics are all dead.
Yeah. It's just like basics on different mountaintops, and they all just fall over. It's like a domino effect.
Oh, absolutely. And you know, the last guy dies, he fires a flare into the air. It falls to earth, I know not where. Now, top side as well. 231. This guy, I mean, the MG26 peak runs out in the open. Gonna meet their end, I think. Probably not gonna be able to make it back without taking the rest of their unfortunate casualties.
Yeah.
And the Pioneers and the Engineers gonna go and trade high explosives. Pioneers coming out much worse on that as opposed to their opposite number.
Seeing IL2 is performing really well when he does have fire support backing him up, whether it's tanks or half-tracks, because he's definitely using more of the basic... Oh, no, he does have some ranges in the field, but just in general, you do need that fire support backing you up if you want to make his infantry pushes. As we're seeing in the northern town, he has been kicked out a little bit. He still has a bare foothold, or pretty much 3 dudes or flamethrowers, but it's going to be hard for him to get a foothold properly back into that town, even if he wants to do that. Maybe you want to try and push a different flank.
Oddly enough, we're getting a P-47 run on that 231.
Good killer.
It could, yeah, just not... Wow.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I would eat my hat, but I'm not wearing one, thankfully.
Well, go put one on.
I don't really want to feel like sacrificing a chapeau over this particular game, but I'll keep that in mind for the future. 234... Oh, 231 not being dead. The 184, there we go, is kind of combining 2 of those, weapon systems together here. Successfully pushing back some of those flamethrowers, and the flamethrowers are popping smoke, as well you do whenever you're under fire.
Yeah. I mean, where you have the smoke, you eventually have fire.
Exactly. And down to the south, we actually have ourselves a bit of a push. And the Marauders getting caught out as well. So Marauders, this is not a good loss here. In fact, both squads of Marauders are getting caught out. I'm not sure the Engineers are going to be able to get there in time. Heck, I don't know the 2-3 wants to be able to engage before the Marauders get a shot off. But he does see those small snub fighters, and there is a danger, and he recognizes it. As anybody driving a vehicle knows, you always have to watch that thermal exhaust port. So...
But this is going pretty well here for Yepcock, as it's been a pretty steady trove. He hasn't really bled that many points, and of course, in Balanced and Maverick, just staying alive for 20 minutes is good enough. And he's actually making some decent progress down south here. If he was to flip a flag over to him, just for a nice little +1, that's a great position to be in.
Wait, watch this. Jet bomber to the north, he's going to kill his own troops. Here it comes. The bomb he's dropping, I think, just about right on that flag. Yep, there we go.
An eye for an eye. Flamethrower for flamethrower.
Yeah, but you don't have enough troops. You can just afford to make everything into a human Zippo. M10 killing that stood for. So it's a little bit troubling to see that happen. Just a smidge.
We're seeing heavy reinforcements down south with basics. It's got quite a lot of engineers. I am quite liking it. He's bringing them in with the half-tracks mainly, which do provide a nice amount of fire support to back him up. And just in the CQC, I mean, Americans don't do too bad, as everyone has a bloody semi-automatic rifle at least. But, with Satchel Chance, you can never really go too wrong with one of those.
True. Now, the one thing I think I'm a little surprised about is the kind of meagerness of the German defensive line in that area. The 2-3-1's in the back, I mean, he's bringing up a flak 20 mil now, but that's, again, a very, very defensive posture. I feel like, especially the way that where that kind of kill zone is for those light vehicles, you gotta put something in there.
Yeah, you want to be a little bit more aggressive in terms of their placement. Of course, the infantry aren't going to be too scary, but you never know, it could be a 6-pounder or 57mm gun somewhere in the forest to ward you off. We are seeing the Stug 4 being brought in, and yeah, he is seeing the 2-3-1s are moving in to counter it. And apart from that, heck, no, none of them have anti-tank, apart from that one Ranger Marauder, so
yep.
Yeah, it's pretty much free reign.
And that's kind of the reason why I thought that, is that yes, you might be taking a little bit of firepower from a 57mm, but if you see where that Pioneer and MG squad are right now, if you stick a 2-3-1 just between that, you see right down that road, which I would argue is way more dangerous than anything else.
Mm-hmm. No, he's finally
U-47
moving
making a
into
run.
position. Engineers actually getting in very close here, but gonna run right into the Pioneers. Bomb and Run didn't do a whole lot, yeah, 2-3-1 managing to move. And I don't feel like this is gonna be an effective push here for Flix.
Nope. No, it is not.
No.
And taking a quick look to the north as this continues to rage. Some forces being built up here, I think, in that central position, in the northern position. But I think this is going to be one of those things that, Ocean North is we talked last time about a map kind of engendering three different kind of fights over on the actual map itself. Ocean North, in my mind, epitomizes that perfectly. You see either everyone concentrates on the northern side, the southern side might be the occasional little kind of tickle in the middle, but watch this cycle back and forth between north and south.
Yeah. Story's a map. A battle of the map edges, pretty much. And it's working really well for Yepcock. He's got a 14-10 advantage into B phase here. Flix hasn't been able to really gain any significant territorial gains. Actually bringing in 2 rhinos down south, which definitely good call in terms of close range tank support, but I don't know, it doesn't seem like he has a spare point anywhere. That's what you need at this point. But an American run.
As the Americans would say, a place to hit it with a hammer.
Yes. A rather big run.
I do love that phrase, the Schwerpunkt. I love that term. I don't know why. And then, the best thing about that, too, is that, rhinos take out a 2-3-1 from a range. Germans use that for every part of their life. It's not just something that they use in it's like a military context. That ends up being a business term, too. It's actually really quite crazy to hear. Yeah, it's kind of fascinating. The rhinos, in the meantime, coming up in a herd, as rhinos do. Not really engaging the Stug at all, which is a very, very brave, but I hope not ultimately doomed decision. Going up that 2-3-1 instead. Picking on those light, thin-skinned vehicles, it makes you kind of wonder about what happened to those guys when they were younger, that they're going after the weak and the lame so quickly.
The rhinos, they don't care.
It's like, back when I was a steward. Not quite happening just yet, though. 45 mil in the meantime, engaging. Just firing ping-pong balls more than anything else.
Yeah, I think just the use of Shermans and Rhinos is going to be pretty big here for IL-2, because the main problem has been all those lightly armoured cars, and they have been pretty bloody powerful so far in stopping any infantry push. So it's just, like I said at the start of the match, good use of fly support can allow us infantry to actually move on up. As you see him picking off the 45 mil very easily. They're still at Stug 4, but it's a 2-on-1, and those rhinos do have stabilizers.
Oh no, better still. Bomb.
Oh.
They're gonna get away in time, but I think they're gonna get freaked out pretty badly.
Yeah. And the Stug can just come in and finish them off, which is a lovely 1-2. Oh wow, completely misses.
Oh, Gabby's in, but you're not gonna catch up a jet. Like, and there's a Focke-Wulf right there. Gabby, I think Gabreski's going to die here. There he goes, without a single kill to his name.
Pathetic, yeah, Gabby. Absolutely pathetic. We expect much more from you.
We do.
Yeah.
We do. I mean, that man's got a lot to live up to, or descend to.
Yeah. Oh, big push up north here. And yeah, kind of, that little bit of a Schwerpunkt, as IL-2 is making some good progress, but the problem is, of course, well, it's at Stug. Fortunately, he does have a range of Marauder to try and counter said nasty beast.
Also, though, while there is going to be the range of Marauder, the question is, if he gets shot off, he does, and he gets killed. Wow. Otherwise, though, basics just kind of doing their thing. Like you said before, just kind of dying, and successfully allowing the range of Marauders to actually do their stuff. I'm quite surprised that went as well as it did. Down south, Rhino does go down, courtesy of, I would imagine, the Stug.
Yeah.
The other one retreating, the last of its kind.
Yeah, this uphill battle has been quite costly for IL-2, and we're almost 15 minutes into B phase, and it's not looking that great for him so far.
It isn't, but ooh, Fieldflakwerfer, aiming for the southern town. Interesting decision. Very interesting decision. First of all, didn't even see the Fieldflakwerfer coming on in, but when you can shower your love upon someone, holding fire, well, that's no fun.
He does have some infantry in the back line. So maybe he's going to bring in some more infantry and just try to rush in after dropping in the artillery, which would be a pretty smart move.
Oh, absolutely. It'd be a perfect move, honestly. That's the kind of thing you want to be doing consistently. Unfortunately, he's still holding fire.
Yep. And up north,
Oh,
this is really where the main push is happening for IL-2. He's trying to get back into that northern town, moving in the rhinos, but... Oh, he does have infantry support coming in up north. He needs a little bit more down south if he wants to try and get into that town. And he really needs to get into that town, because by God, he needs a +2.
well, the Yepcock Verifo starts to engage, putting rockets not quite on target, but at least in the same postal area. Forces a little bit of
fire.
Yeah, smoke. Well, there's smoke. There is fire in this particular case as well. So
I like this a lot. Yeah, dropping the smoke to cover the southern end of the town, and then just completely suppressing the northern part. Well, almost. The M1919 is still rocking, but not for long. Yeah, here we go. And this is really gonna set, like, if he gets into that town, that's really gonna set the momentum for the rest of the match. Because, as we're seeing, it's a good push up north, but down south, as you see, now he's have to invest in airplane reinforcements.
the P-47's going in, takes out a machine gun. That's a very, very...
He should have hit the frontline troops.
Exactly.
That was a real cock-up here, because that's going to allow Yepcock to get in here. He's got Stern Pioneers as well, which the basics are not going to be able to hold out against.
Also, the 105 howitzer fired a shell last week and somehow took out that Su-76.
Impressive.
I am always surprised at how ridiculously slow that munition goes. Oh well. Now all these basics are rushed into the area, and the M1919 does have a couple of targets in mind. Unfortunately for him, I don't know if that's really enough.
No, he's got some riflemen being brought in, but Yepcock does have... he doesn't have a crazy position in that town, but still, it's his time which IL-2 is having to spend trying to patch up a hole in his lines rather than trying to poke holes into Yepcock's line. So it's definitely screwing him over in terms of time.
Well, looking down to the south as well, the southern side's completely collapsed, thanks to this flak track, a rushed squad of Pigrens, and the Stug 4, which has somehow managed to survive. And indeed, I think he took out both of those rhinos. I think both those rhinos are dead.
Yeah, they are long gone. Raved a rhino, you could say.
That is something I probably could say. I'm not sure that I will, but I definitely could say that. Northern side, in the meantime, 57 mil on the field, has been engaging things like this Pack 40, which needs to unlimber now, and he's probably going to go, oh no. 57 mil being very, very gentlemanly, deciding to fire shots across his bow as opposed to actually killing him.
As a hidden, agreement between anti-tank gunners. They just kind of shoot over each other's heads just to be polite.
And you have to respect that. The R-234 coming in, going after the engineers, interesting decision. It is 15-9, but this is still with just a smidge of time before it goes into Phase C and the dark, dark days for, booty busting here.
Yeah, it's going to be about whether he can keep up his momentum, and it doesn't feel like he will be able to. The main flag captures have been in the center of that one half-track rushing on through, which isn't exactly a great defensive position or great defensive force, and you are seeing the Yepcock still... Well, it's not really much you can really push down south. Once you capture that hill, that's pretty much as far as runner will go. But he still has a little foothold in the town. I think that's going to get popped quite quickly, which will be a very important capture for IL-2. Allow him to, reconvene his lines in that position and give him a potentially 16-8.
Potentially, yes, but I don't know that that's really a reasonable ask. Southern side's completely decayed. I would argue that the southern side's just going to be just entirely German here.
Yeah,
the second this last rifle squad. Yes, sir?
Just set up defensive lines and call it a day. He just needs to be playing really more heavy in the center here. There's always a lot of flags which one can capture.
Oh, absolutely. And I think that would be a better idea. Throw a scratch defensive team just to kind of defend that last flag to the northeast of the southern intersection here. If you thought for firing a second barrage. One thing that struck me, we haven't seen a single supply truck all this week.
Yeah, that's true. I guess supply is lame. Who needs logistics? My units die before they need to rearm.
That's true. That's true. But I'm pretty sure there's not a scrounge the dead mechanic just yet. Or if they haven't put the DLC just yet for that. Which actually, when I'm thinking about it, was it that the partisans should be allowed to do that consistently? I would think. I don't know.
That'd be a pretty funny mechanic. But it's a really, that was a very clutch rocket artillery strike here from Yepcock, as he's still being a thorn in IL2's side by just contesting that southern town. We've seen a lot of reinforcements being brought over here, and also slowing down the bleed only to a -1. And just looking at the defensive line for IL2, it's pretty scratch all over. It's not like a consistent deadly American force here. And of course, with the income swerve and C phase, it's only going to be like 5 to 10 minutes before Yepcock can really swarm the map.
And one thing that surprised me is that we actually haven't seen any long toms whatsoever, which is, I feel like, is such a second infantry staple.
Yeah, if you wanted
Hellcat
to
in the
buy
meantime.
one, it would be in B phase.
Oh, exactly. Absolutely. Pack 40 taking out a Hellcat to the northern side. Not too surprising there. Hellcat's amazing claws. Unfortunately, not the thickest of skins. And I think... You know what? Yepcock is preparing for another push. I don't know when. I don't know how. Oh, that's her. Okay.
Oh, it's a supply truck.
Yep, I was just going to say we got the supply truck, and I'm guaranteeing you, the Yepcock next barrage is going in that northwestern flag in that town.
Yeah, he's got all his infantry powered up, ready to go. And I do like how he is, it's a very good play, where you don't just send your units sequentially one by one, but gather them all up in a pre-staging area, and then just bombard the crap out of the town. Heck, maybe you just drop in a few Ardo bombs. And even got the cheap mortar to drop in some smoke, so I feel like his push is going to happen soon.
Meanwhile, down to the south, what the heck is it throwing that iron cigar downrange? Panther D, by the way, southern side. I don't know if that was a mortar that... Yeah, I guess that was a mortar that was dropping iron cigars.
And also the SU-76M being brought in as well, so some more... Oh, no, yeah, it's the one that... No, it doesn't have indirect...
No, it's the indirect.
Germans don't know how to do that. That's a Russian state secret.
Would you say they were Russian to figure it out?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, they were, Khan. We're seeing the northern push. It's starting to kick off. No high explosive fire support, just a little bit of smoke to cover the road. And a very particular way of covering that road as well.
Well, I think that they just subscribe to the school of smoke them if you got them, and they definitely got them.
And it was the 40s, you could get away with it.
Very, very true. But honestly, the placement for that, delicious. Because if you look at the Hellcat otherwise, Hellcat, had he just, changed his position even just a smidge, I would argue he could have taken out that entire column. Of course, I say just a smidge.
Oh yeah, down south, yeah.
Exactly. I mean, right now, this doesn't look like it because of the smoke cutting in here, but regardless. Battle Refuer, also, this guy's going to go down pretty quickly, not really able to fight, unless... No, he's engaging the engineers with the mortar. I guess I would have probably fired the actual mortar shells right by the Battery Refuer, but, maybe I value officers' lives a little bit more than I should, so...
That northern coast did not go out great here for Yepcock, but not really that much of a shame. It's still a Trove. He has the income advantage, and he's still barely holding the southern town. That's been a real thorn in IL2's side.
And that, I think, is a greater victory, more than anything else. Crew panicked in the meantime. Panther D, I'd be panicked too if a Panther started to engage me. Panther D taking out this Rhino? Yep. And the Animal Kingdom loses another organism. And the Yogpans, in the meantime, just continues to shred. Yeah, I mean, this is one of those things we've talked about time and again. If the second gets a lot of momentum, life is good. If the second does not get momentum, life is no good.
Yeah, and with the second, you really need to use your artillery to actually get said momentum. You have radios and the mortars, you have long toms, you have pretty good off-map artillery, you have mortar half-tracks, all very powerful units because, as you see, the infantry are really just here to hold the line. That's what the basics are for. They don't really have the firepower to push by themselves.
But tell you what it does have the ability to do is that 105 is able to kill a panther with
Ow.
its low-pitched softball shots. So trading up, that guy's actually killed, I think, two heavier vehicles.
Yeah. I mean, it's quite polite. It does give the Panther crew time to bail out of the tank before the inevitable doom.
Unlike the Yepcock Verpa, who just kind of says, "Guys, when you see my trails in the air, you should put your head between your knees and kiss your bum goodbye." So
Follow my traces.
exactly, exactly. Sherman, wait, did the Sherman go? No.
Yes. Yes, it did.
Okay, so that wasn't just my old eyes deceiving me. Good to know.
Yeah,
And
just
indeed,
holding that southern town has been deadly.
well, the funny thing is that if he wanted to, he could slide that 222 onto the road and just cut the road completely, which I would argue would be a better usage of resources than trying to stick it to guard the eastern side. That's just me. But hey, each their own, I suppose. Northern side, we do have some small, not so much scratch defenses or scratch attacks, but we are getting small troops here and there. Another Vilfok Verfa up to the northern side, suppressing those pioneers, excuse me, suppressing those engineers, wrong side here, suppressing those rifles. And while
Yeah.
there are Shermans behind that town, I think that northern town is just about ready to flip completely.
Yeah, it's a very effective rocket barrage, yeah. And he does have infantry following up with the push, who should be able to clear out what is left of the Americans, which is frankly not a lot.
You be correct, sir. You be very correct indeed. Checking back into the south one more time. We are thinking. I think there's going to be a small attempt to make this a -2.
Yeah, very close.
And 222 in the meantime. Actually, yeah. And here's, yeah, I was gonna say the 222 just kind of can just amble on forwards, and a bit earlier of a tap that I think probably could have been ideally achieved, but we talk about it consistently. He doesn't have a whole lot to kind of hold on to at that point.
He just did not really. He did not manage to gain the momentum in that match as the Maverick player, which of course screws you over. So, pretty respectable tap out, yeah. Pretty different, yeah, 800 KD difference.
Hmm.
Pretty standard stuff. Looking at the kills.
I mean, the one Ranger Marauders pretty much it, I would argue.
Yeah, some of the basics held out pretty well. Like one basic killing 3 Panzer Grenadiers and a 45 mil. Not super
Hmm.
impressive, but for basic, that's basically the best you can get.
True, true.
Losses, 45 mil doing decent. Auto, alright.
Otto wasn't quite as devastating as usually is, and Gabreski goes down over here to Joplin. Um, but Quantius over here. One, two, three Shermans picking up a couple infantry kills. One, two, three, four vehicles from Merton over here. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
usually the Ardo was far more terrifying than it ended up being, but still, I mean, you can't argue with the results.
Indeed. And now just very good play from Yepcock as he was pretty much leading the momentum of the match for a good chunk of it. I liked that early push from Flix into the northern town, but he couldn't really follow it up to actually secure it properly. Because if he was able to do that, that's such a good position to control, because you can start putting pressure down south, you can put pressure onto the northern hill and deny the reinforcement line, yeah. But alas, that did not happen.
Alas, it did not. But regardless, well played to both sides. Um, I still want to see the second being used in a viable way, and I don't know the perfect way to do that other
Artillery.
than just, yeah, but I mean, I'd like to see a lake. I feel like the second is not a division to play Maverick, just because you need that time to get that firepower up.
Yeah, you can use the mortars effectively, but of course you have to spend quite a bit in the
Hmm.
artillery tab. And with Maverick, you kind of just want to be spamming frontline units like cheap medium tanks and infantry. A
Yep.
very good balanced division, that's for sure.
Yeah, I don't feel like they're really a Maverick group. But hey, theory crafting for another day. For today, any other thoughts, sir?
No,
Well, folks, in that case, then we're gonna kind of tap out ourselves here. Until next time, I'm Conolwork.
I'm Rangru, take it easy.